Hey everyone, Mr. Martinez here, recording a different way. You can actually see me um, down in the, left lower corner. And I thought I would do a different type of lesson format, getting this figured out. So hopefully you'll enjoy this lesson as you actually get to see me. So we'll begin class like we normally would. I would say, good morning, everyone. And you would say what you would normally say, and we would go 3, 2, 1. You'd say what you would say, and then I would say, "Hi, I am about to teach you, salute you back, strength and honor." So we're going to be leaving the Middle Ages, and we're going to begin the Renaissance. So for this week, you're going to take focus notes on this lesson and continue working in the workbook. But let's begin. So we're going to begin with a question. As it starts to work for me. There we go. So, what comes to mind when you think of the Renaissance? So, I want you to percolate on that for a little bit. And as always, we're going to take our time. I'm not going to go too fast, but it definitely will be quicker than normal. And hopefully, you guys will be able to follow along. But what comes to mind when you think of the Renaissance? In your notes, you're going to write down, when I think of the Renaissance, I think of, you're going to write it down. And then here's my answer. When I think of the Renaissance, I think of paintings, ideas of reason and thought, and the growth of Europe out of the Dark Ages. So that's what we're going to be learning about. We're going to be discussing various items of the Renaissance. We're also going to be learning about the Reformation, the Age of Enlightenment, scientific revolution, and then we're going to end with the Age of Exploration. And that'll lead to 8th grade U.S. history. So whether it's school or distance learning, we are going to finish the year like we always would. So let's continue. So, origins and effects of the Renaissance. That's our title. So make sure you write that down. California State Standards. Please read along with me. We're going to analyze the origins, causes, and accomplishments, effects of the Renaissance. Our learning target today is, yes, there's a learning target. I can list 3 causes of the Renaissance and 3 effects. So the goal is to find the causes and then the effects. Okay? You're going to answer this in your notes. It's going to be taken during the lesson, so you're not going to give me a separate piece of paper, obviously. It's going to be in your notes. Okay? You're going to give 3 causes of the Renaissance and 3 effects. All right? So that is our goal for this week of learning. We're going to learn about the Renaissance. Okay? So, here we got some pictures. We have, and obviously this weekend is Easter, or celebration by Christians. They call it Resurrection Day. Okay, here's a medieval painting, and of course, scientific revolution. So, but we're going to learn about the Renaissance. So, what does Renaissance mean? What does it mean? If you're reading your textbook, this is in, I believe, chapter 8 or topic 8. That's what we're going to be learning about. So let us continue. It means the rebirth. Rebirth from what? Well, if you remember the Dark Ages, After the fall of Rome, everything just went south for the world, at least the European world. And they forgot all the things that Rome had done: the running water, the plumbing, the baths being clean, all that stuff gone. And the Dark Ages last for almost 1,000 years, and then eventually Europe comes out of it. So, is rebirth of Europe that had been in the Dark Ages for almost 1,000 years. That's what we learned. So we always got to have a map, and here we have Italy. So from our wonderful student who loves to talk about being Italian and everything, we're finally at that learning experience. So the Renaissance begins in Italy. You need to remember that. It begins in Italy. Okay? So let's read together. European society changes. Obviously, you're going to write all this down. It says read, but I need you to write it down so you have it in your notes. So make sure you have this down. Several key events happened or helped bring an end to feudalism and the Middle Ages. One was the development of unified nations during the 1100s. So you start leaving the feudal society, castle, manor life, and now you have countries, nations rising up. The bubonic plague of 1348 also contributed to the end of feudalism. Over 2/3 of Europe died, 26 million, as we learned. So, really changed everything. England and France waged a long war known as the 100 Years' War, which we'll learn about. It's also in your book. Actually, a little bit more than 100 years, but they like to round it off. So, we're going to find that England and France are constantly at war. It's interesting. So, let's think about this question. What helped bring an end to the Middle Ages? You're going to pair with your partner and discuss this question with your partner. Okay, what helped bring an end to the Middle Ages? And then, of course, you would share. Okay, all right. One cause of the Renaissance: the fact that Europe changed. If Europe had not changed, there would be no Renaissance. It would still be the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. Society would have been the same. And for most people, that wasn't good for them. The idea of freedom, rights, thinking for oneself, that's going to come about during the Renaissance. All right, the next item is the expansion of trade. I'm going to write this down. As the feudal system faded, warfare and invasions grew less. There was more stability. New trade routes were created, like the Silk Road, which helped trade flourish. When you have peace, when you have less conflict, when you have less people fighting, trade will flourish. That's one of the biggest reasons why in our society, in our world, people do their best to not have wars. Because when you have wars, this all ceases. And it's sad. Recently, my family, we watched a movie about a major world war. And it was interesting to see just the pain and suffering that occurred. And this was a major war that killed, they call it the lost generation in Europe, because over 20 million people from the ages of 16 to 28 wiped out, dead, because of this war. So there was no trade, there was no, people just wanted to survive. So that's what happens. But when you have peace, trade can flourish. Traders were able to trade and were exposed to new ideas. Very key. Exposed to new ideas. Okay? All right. So how did the reopening of the Silk Road affect Europe? I'm going to pair off again, discuss this with your partner, and of course share. And I'm waiting for your answers. I'm waiting. That's a good one. Go ahead and share with other people in your class. So since we're doing social distancing, you can't exactly say hello to your class unless we had like a Zoom or something. But I'm still getting the hang of even this, so we'll see about that. But hopefully this is helping you guys learn, and you get to hear me and see me. So I still look the same. Maybe a little more beard, but we'll see. So, another cause of the Renaissance, drum roll please, the expansion of trade. Okay? So, Europe changed, the expansion of trade. Another thing that really probably is one of the biggest causes of the Renaissance is new ways of thinking. The growth of trade with Asia introduced more Europeans to new goods and ideas. The Crusades brought back ideas and things. People started to rediscover the Roman Empire, what it was, the Greek ideas, and so forth. As a result, new ways of thinking spread across Europe. People wanted to learn and gain knowledge. People didn't want to be ignorant and in the dark about what things were. They wanted to learn. And this brought about the Renaissance. To gain greater knowledge, people turned to classical teachings of the Greeks and Romans. They studied their history, and just going to share something with you guys. I've been reading this book during this time. You can see it. Well, it's backwards, but it's a short history of the world. If I put a mirror there, I'll probably reverse it. But anyway, it's a short history of the world. Okay? And that's what they did. They discovered history. They started to read about things from before, and specifically the Greeks and the Romans. Okay? People began to focus on humanism, which is the study of humans and their potential. We're going to tackle that word again when we get to the Enlightenment. It's a very important word. Make sure you have it circled in your focus notes. Very important, along with the definition. The focus was on people, not kings or the church. Humanism stressed the individual. Okay? It's not the manor, it's not the kings, not the lords, it's not the Catholic Church. It's each individual. Very, very, very important. Okay, so make sure you have this all written down. Okay, so what was another effect of trade on Europe? Obviously, pair, discuss the question with your partner, share your partner's answers to the class. Listening again? A good answer. You know who you are. Those of you who know who you are, you know who you are. Do I know who I am? I think I do. All right. Last cause of the Renaissance. New ways of thinking. Okay? So, what does that mean? What were the effects of the Renaissance? So you have the causes. Now we're going to deal with the effects. Okay? Ooh. Advances in art. Advances in science. Leonardo da Vinci's design for the helicopter, pretty amazing. And it led to world exploration, which we're going to be tackling later on. This all happened during the Renaissance, so you can see things are starting to change. Things are starting to get back to Roman times, and if not even Roman times, become even greater. Okay, when we get to the Age of Enlightenment, it's just amazing what happens. Okay, we're going to get there at some point. So, all right. Conclusion. Remember the conclusions? Yes, the conclusion concludes the matter, sums up everything you've learned. The Renaissance was the single greatest event in the modern history of Europe. No joking. It is the single greatest event. This changed you would not have the things you have or think the way you do had it not been for the Renaissance. I mean, just everything, okay? As we continue learning, you will see how great of an impact the Renaissance had on world history. We're going to develop these ideas. We're going to really focus on these ways of thinking, and we're going to inquire. We're going to answer big questions about, why and who, and how did this affect you individually. All these things are going to be answered. All right. So you should have written down the answers to the exit questions in your notes. Write them down in your notes right now. Give 3 causes of the Renaissance and give 3 effects of the Renaissance. That's your goal. When you turn in the work to me, when you take the pictures, probably just a good idea to get the first page and then the 3 causes and everything so that I can see that you're actually doing this and paying attention. It's very important that you do this to supplement the other work that you are working on. So make sure you're doing it and make sure you're getting a hold of me. Okay? All right. That brings us to the end. So, thank you for watching this lesson. Thank you for taking focused notes. Remember, if you need to contact me, I sent an email out that gives you all the information for that. And I want to wish you a good weekend. For those of you that celebrate what's happening this weekend, celebrate. For those of you that don't, take care. We're all in this together. Hang in there. Do your best. You know that if we were in class, I'd be encouraging you as much as I could. Trying to do it here. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day. And hopefully, if you need anything, remember how to contact me. You can. And hopefully we'll be able to maybe see each other one last time before the end of everything, of the school year. I mean, the end of everything. I don't mean that, but you guys know. You, my students, know my idiosyncrasies and things. So it's going to come out in the videos. I can't pause it, but so you guys have a good rest of the day. And until next video, strength and honor. This is the way. Take care.